All right. Huh?
I look so tired.
You look so tired. Ugh. Guess we'll wait for a little bit for everybody to get here. It's a good topic tonight. Something I'm not too ashamed to talk about. So, if anybody's getting on right now and you have any questions about relationships and intimacy while living with cerebral palsy, post your questions up. And if it's too intimate, I'll let you know. We don't have to talk about it. So, don't worry. There's no wrong questions. Honestly, it just may not be none of your business. yeah. So, but for the most part, I just want to talk about, what it's like dealing with those things. Hey, Ray. Yeah. Anybody got any questions? Post them up. Yeah. Post them up. I'm gonna wait for probably 2 more minutes, and then I'll get started.
I might not know what kind of questions to ask.
Well, questions. You may not know what kind of questions to ask. All right. Well, that's a good. Thank you. See, that's why I got married, because she helps my brain work. Anyway, I'll scoot up a little bit.
I mean, it's spaghetti.
I'm trying not to break nothing. I guess I can start out with, start here in about 30 seconds. And if you have any questions, just post them up. Cerebral palsy and relationships and intimacy. Got any questions?
Sorry, you'll have to watch me chew.
Yeah, that's all right. It's just some bow tie pasta, which I love. Anyway, I'm about to get started. So, the biggest thing for me, especially in relationships, when you're physically different from, normal people, you're kind of afraid to kind of go there with yourself. I know early on for me, it was a big fear because I was so different physically. It's like, man, I don't know if people are going to accept me, because of how I am physically. And it just made me very apprehensive with trying to get into relationships. And when I did try, it usually didn't go very well. I found, in that time and in retrospect, people were just really afraid, honestly. And when you're afraid of something, you don't really want to get too close, and my fear is just, again, it's like, man, like, what if, something I do, like something I can't help scares them away, or something I can't change about myself. So it led to a lot of insecurity. So that was a big part of, why things were how they were when it came to relationships in my high school and college time. And I don't know, for me it was a lot of just being unsure, and I tried to have relationships, like I said, but it just really never kind of became much of anything until Emily, really. And a lot of it was that insecurity, made me really kind of toward the end of my trying to date people and things like that before Emily. I was really kind of choosy about who I really wanted to get close to, especially because of how I am physically. I didn't want people to immediately, hey Morgan, hey Mariah, I didn't want people to immediately, judge me. It was so scary, man.
You want to talk about some of the reactions you got?
Some of the reactions I got, like when I wanted to date someone?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the time when I wanted to date somebody, I would approach them, be really careful, because, I was always afraid of rejection, and, hey, Lena, and so some of the reactions I got, it's like, we could never date because, we're just too different, or I don't know how my parents would feel about this, or, I don't know how my friends would feel about this, or, and what if something happens to you and I don't know what to do, all those things. And Forgive me, my father-in-law's mowing outside. Mower's got to mow, so if you hear it, sorry. But and other things, let's see. It's pretty heartbreaking things. I'm trying not to make anyone sad or anything like that, but I guess I'll get into it. Everybody's gonna look at us, or everybody's gonna judge us. Those are kind of the things that really kind of happened, so dating didn't really go very well. There are a few instances where someone was kind of into me, but I could tell it was kind of for the wrong reasons. Kind of like I was like a novelty, I guess. And then I had to really, to respect myself, I had to kind of cut the relationship possibilities off before they got started. It was like that in college, especially toward the end. But then Emily came into my life, and it was such a different experience. Emily and I were we were friends at first, and there was really no pressure, really. It was just kind of a relaxed time, and we just enjoyed each other's company. And by the end of it, I knew in whatever capacity I wanted Emily in my life, so that made it really easy. I wasn't trying to be something or make something happen, and that made it pretty easy to relax. She was someone that I felt like I can trust with seeing my body, potentially, and someone I could trust if she had questions, not to be too rude about it or make me feel, disgusting. And that was another thing in dating. I always felt like I would be too disgusting for people, I have a lot of scars on my lower half of my body, so, I was always afraid of that, and just a lot of insecurity. And so I dealt with that a lot. But, of course, Emily came along, and I don't know, everything I was afraid of was just overridden. I just felt like God had brought us together with a purpose. So all of those insecurities kind of just went away. And I don't know, back in the day, there were people I was attracted to, but again, my physicality would get in the way. And, you see people and you see the things that you think girls like and want, and you can't do those things, or you have a hard time doing those things, or difficult time doing those things, and, you worry about whether or not you can be satisfying or not, or whether or not you'll be able to please someone. But with Emily, it really wasn't like that. There's my mama. Hey, Ma. So does anybody have any questions? Like, really no questions are off limits. I can talk about pretty much anything. And if something is getting a little too deep, I'm sure my wife will give me a look. But, you have any questions? Anybody have any questions about anything about relationships and living with cerebral palsy and things like that? Or I can keep going. I've seen other people online. YouTube has, I think it's Squishy and Squibbles or something like that. It's a guy in a wheelchair, and he's pretty much wheelchair bound, and he has a girlfriend. And some of the challenges that they deal with, I listen to them talk about it. And the reason I'm doing this tonight is because I watched a video about some of the questions that people presented to them about their relationship when it came to intimacy. And I have no shame, really. People need to know this kind of thing. I am physically capable of being intimate. Sometimes some days are harder than others. But it's like that for everybody, I think. And some of the questions that they faced was like, does his body work properly? Yeah, mine works properly. Are you worried about people judging you if you have children, things like that? And that was one that really struck me from yesterday. And I wonder what the judgment would be.
I know what I mean. People ask that question because they wonder if what condition you have is genetic and whether you're going to pass it to your children.
Yeah, you can't pass CP on to your offspring or anybody, that you come in contact with. It's not a passing virus or anything like that. But yeah, anybody have any questions? Like, seriously. You know, let's see, what else can we talk about? There are, I know I did a lot of research before, the opportunity of being in a relationship and physically intimate and emotionally intimate about people that have handicaps and disabilities. And really, a lot of it was just finding someone who's willing to understand and willing to try and make things work. And occupational therapy, actually, there's occupational therapists that deal with this kind of thing with people that are in relationships and people that are married. And there's so many things out there that can be so helpful. And so, there's so many things out there, especially now. I can imagine living, in the 70s and 80s and trying to start a family with someone that has a physical disability. That makes things difficult to be intimate, But now there's so many different things and different ways to go about it, and people you can see. And if anybody knows of anyone that has any questions or they're having difficulty, you can send them my way. I'll be glad to talk to them about what's possible and what's out there. Does anyone have any questions? Really, nothing is too off limits, and if it is, I'll let you know. But let's see, I guess I can talk about fears. When I knew I was going to get married, I was so afraid. I was afraid of the wedding night, and the usual jitters, were there, but it was just kind of, I don't know, I was just hoping that nothing would hurt or break. It's like my knees are bad, like, man, I hope I can hang in there. And it was such an exciting and scary moment, and that it was really nerve-wracking. But once you get past what things in your mind, what you think they are, and you get to what intimacy actually is, it all just kind of fades away, and you just do the best you can, and that goes with emotional intimacy as well. You're worried you might say the wrong thing or not be present in the moment, and you have to work on it in the moment. Have to make yourself aware and present, and that's pretty much with anything in a relationship, whether married or dating or something like that. But yeah, but anybody got any questions? Give me some questions. Don't be afraid of questions. Yeah, don't be afraid of questions. I'm trying to think of other ones. Hey, Miss Karen. Trying to think of other questions they talked about last night. People were asking if they had to use what was it, apparatus to help people stabilize and things like that, and you don't want to be injured and that kind of thing. No, I mean, just try to be careful and communicate, really. If something doesn't feel right, or it's like, man, my feet are hurting a little too bad, hey, it's like, let's take a break or something like that. You just have to be aware of what's going on with each other, really. And I think that's another aspect of it. You just have to be really, truly intimate with one another and what's going on, and hey, Miss Karen, what's going on with each other, and just be aware. I think that's the beauty of intimacy, is that you really have to be aware of one another and have respect for one another and what's going on. Hey, what's going on? Yeah, give me some questions, anything I want to know. Anything I want to know. Come on. Somebody better ask a question.
Everybody's too scared to ask. Or either doesn't know what they're asking. They don't know what there is to talk about, maybe.
Oh, well, maybe so, It's all good. Let me see. What else could we talk about? Oh, it's okay. Miss Karen saying hello.
Oh, hi. I can't see the things from this far back.
Sure. Let's see. I missed the beginning. What did you already say at first? Did you already share your love story, your dating story, and how you met and fell in love? Oh. And when you popped the question. Oh, okay.
We kind of shared a little bit.
We sort of did. We can go back to it. Me and Emily met at Sam Houston State University. You know, and like I said in the beginning, I tried to date, you know, but it really didn't go very well, you know, from high school to college and things like that. I don't know, there was a lot of fear, you know, on both parts, you know, it wasn't just the other person. I was afraid too, you know, I was afraid of what people may see and what they may think, you know, if it came down to being intimate, I was just I had a lot of insecurities, you know, when your body is different from people around you, from normal people, you know, you get really afraid. You just don't know what people think, and you don't want to be ostracized or, you know, made fun of or shunned because of something you can't help. So that's the biggest thing. And my dating life, really, I mean, people were mean to me, things like that, you know, and so I just got kind of afraid of it, actually. But here, there's questions come in finally. Thank you, guys. And so, yeah, there's a little fear, and, you know, you're just always so worried. And, you know, you see everyone else, and everybody's being normal, and you're trying your best to be normal, and you can't be, so it just makes you fearful. And I don't know, and I was always kind of respectful, you know. I didn't really want to be just out there and with anybody, you know. I needed it to be, you know, somebody that really was invested in who I am, and not just, oh, I check it out, I slept with that guy, or I was with that guy and nobody else would do it, you know. I didn't want to be pitied or anything like that, so that made me very specific about who I really wanted to get attached to, you know. So that was a lot of it, you know. After a while, you know, after the hormones of high school kind of faded, you know, you just kind of, you know, and I'm a guy, I know what I want, I know what I like, and I usually stick to that, and, you know, that was a big part of it too. But yeah, I'll get back to how we met. We met at Sam Houston State. We were both music students, you know, and we met at a choir party. I was sitting alone on a bench, being a loner like always, and you know, I didn't really know anybody, and I really didn't feel like pretending I wanted to, you know, entertain people. And then I was just sitting there thinking about life, and there was a shadow behind me, and I was like, oh great, somebody got entertained. And I turned around, and I saw Emily, and she was cute. She had her braids and her bandana and her hat, or her bandana and her nice little shirt with, I think it had cats on it or something.
Oh, yeah. What was that lettuce shirt?
Yeah, it was a lettuce shirt, yeah.
That's before I knew how to braid my hair.
Yeah, but it was cute though, I remember. And yeah, and it was pretty awesome because, you know, somebody wanted to talk to me. And of course, immediately my guard goes up a little bit, you know. And then when I found out she had a boyfriend, everything just kind of like, yeah, let me turn that off. But, you know, and after that, we had classes together and things, but it wasn't really like, you know, wow, this person or anything. You know, it was just kind of like, hey, how's it going? How's it going? And, you know, you're so busy in college, you don't even have time to know who you are, let alone anybody else. You know, you're trying to find food and find somewhere to sleep and practice piano and voice and all this stuff, you know. And then it took about 2 years, didn't it, before we really, yeah. It took about 2 years before we really got to get to know each other. And it happened on the couches in the music building. Everybody was down there, and we were all sitting there, and it was a weekend, and, you know, everybody talking about how bored they're going to be. And Emily looked over at me, and I said hello, and we just struck up a conversation, and we were laughing, and I'm making jokes, and I made a face at her. Should I do the face?
No, I don't know.
I made a face like this at her, and she said I look like a llama. So after that, I was the llama, and I just thought that was so endearing. You know, just someone to joke with me and have fun. And so it was that weekend too. Yeah, we met up and watched a couple of music programs and things like that, and it just kind of blossomed from there. I don't know, it was just kind of nice. I wasn't really looking for anything, really, you know, and really at that time I was almost graduating.
No, I was just lonely and wanted to have some friends.
Yeah.
It was really hard to make friends over there.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah, lonely, wanted to have friends. Basically, that was it. And then some time happened and some changes happened in both our lives. And then next thing you know, we were dating. And it was pretty nice. There was no pressure. There was no, I have to be a certain way. There was no, I didn't really care anymore about how I am and how I look, how I am physically, because someone was genuinely into me. And I really had never had that before. And so it just made me feel good. And it gave me confidence. And, and I just really appreciated her. Even as my friend before we were dating, I just really appreciated her. She was just great. And then we were dating and everything and met her family and stuff. And I'm sure there were whispers and people trying to figure out what was going on, and like Emily losing her mind, and where'd this kid come from, and, but I wasn't really too worried about it. And not until the engagement. The engagement got a little tough, because there's questions and things like that weren't coming from her, it was coming from other people, and I was having to kind of, kind of defend my honor, so to speak. I popped a question where we met at music school. So we went back there. What did we go back there for? Was it a concert? Yeah, we went back there for a concert. And I did my best to try to hide the ring in my pocket, but it was a freaking huge box, and it looked like I had a tumor growing out of my butt. But I did my best, but she spotted it anyway. But yeah, we went and sat down on our bench and watched the construction guys working on the new music building. And so the construction guys got to see me propose to my wife. I didn't get down on one knee because I probably would have still been there. So I just sat next to her and proposed to her, because if I got down on one knee, I was like, yeah, we're going to call somebody. I ain't getting back up. But, let's see. And your dating story, man, dating was fun. It was long distance, but it was pretty much every other weekend we saw each other, right? Pretty much. Or every 2 weekends we tried to see one another. I was riding a Greyhound bus. I have many a journey I could tell you about trying to go visit my girlfriend. Well,
you were doing your internship.
Yeah, I had my internship.
And I was finishing up my last semester.
That's right.
And then I had to do student teaching.
Yeah, that was
so
all
I
that.
really needed support.
Yeah, she needed support during student teaching. And I was there to help her and be there, and that was really fun. That was a real test. And so I was riding Greyhound every other month, every other month, riding Greyhound, going to visit, and man, some doozies, boy. Let me tell you, if I never had to ride the bus again, thank you Jesus. But and so we just did long distance. Then popped the question, and it was still a little long distance. We dated for what, like a year and a half. A year, and then we were engaged for 6 months. Mm-hmm. So 7 months, something like that. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Then we were married and freaking out, Yeah, I didn't know what was gonna happen. I was just praying the whole time. Let me tell you. Let's see. Stephanie's got. Hey, thanks for sharing. What do you know about women with CP and family planning? I don't know much. I'm ashamed to say. I know that there are so many avenues that ladies can take that have physical disabilities. I've read a few articles from ladies about being physically intimate and their fears, and a lot of it boiled down to, do they think they'll be able to please a man, or please whoever their partner is, because of, for me, for instance, there's so much pain involved, just standing sometimes, it's just like, man, how can we make this work, and that was kind of their fear, and the ladies were talking about, there's different ways people like to make love, and they can't do those things. They can't make their bodies get into those type of positions and things like that. And I even did a little research. There was an individual in a wheelchair, and he was talking about how to be intimate with a wheelchair, and he said the most important thing you had to do to be intimate in a wheelchair was be sure you had the brakes on. That's what he said. Number one thing, be sure you got the brakes on, because if you don't, you're going to have all kind of craziness. And that made me laugh when I read that. But yeah, and really though, it's just all about vulnerability, you know. And I think that's what's most beautiful about it to me, is that I'm vulnerable to you, you know, in a way that no one else can be, and you are vulnerable to me in a way that no one else can be, you know. And that's why I say there is no other Larry and Emily, you know, that is us, and to me that's important. But
question about family planning.
But yeah, family planning. I'll get to it.
Okay.
What's up?
I just didn't know if you just went off course.
No, I didn't really go off course. Okay. No, the family planning, you know, again, I really don't know much. I just know that there are opportunities out there where you can talk to your occupational therapist, even your physical therapist, you know, to see what's possible. And really that's pretty much all I know. Really is just go see what's possible. There's many avenues out there, and there are many ways to communicate what your desires are and what's going on. Excuse me, spaghetti. What's going on with your body? And let's see, I was asked about it and had no idea what to answer. Yeah, no, I'm sure there's a spectrum of difficulties, so that's all I said. Yeah, there's a spectrum of difficulties for everyone. And really, you know, there's so many things out there you could talk about. Let's see, any other questions? So cute. So cute. I love couple stories, and I've always thought y'all are the sweetest. Sweet. Gotta get back to delivering. Talk to you later. Hey, what's up, Lori? Yeah, and so, I don't know, physical intimacy with us, like anybody, there's a Facebook watch thing called 9 Months with Courtney Cox, and there are 2 seasons of birth stories of many couples. Right now, there's a girl who has CP, and they're following her story. So she shares her struggles and fears with the pregnancy journey. You know, yeah. And again, you know, I can't get pregnant, but I can understand the fears of having a different type of body than everyone that's normal. You know, and again, I don't know. I don't want to end up in the ER. That's pretty much what it is. Hey, Corey, man, free play's going strong, dude. I've been really rooting for y'all. Yeah, I just don't want to end up in the ER. That's the bottom line of physical intimacy with CP. You know, and emotional intimacy. Also, you better be listening and pay attention, or you might end up in the ER. And my difficulty is thinking before I speak. Yeah, you know, yeah, I understand. My difficulty is pretty much just, I don't know, just trusting that everything's gonna be okay. Even now, you know, especially as I get older, man, I was like, man, this left kneecap, you know, yeah, I don't know, it ain't feeling right, you know. So, you know, you get nervous, man, and you know, and it's just interesting. It's an interesting experience, you know. You got those pajamas on, like, dang, man, come on, left knee, come on, man, you're gonna be all right. But you know, just have to really just communicate and be careful. Hey, Miss Robin. Yeah, I'm really curious about what others that have CP deal with. I know my experience and what I've read. I know that there are those, again, they talk about different apparatuses that they purchase to make things a little easier. You know, and
when you say apparatus, you mean things like that you can hold on to.
Oh yeah.
So you don't fall down.
Yeah.
Like that.
You know, like
adaptive.
Adaptive. Thank you. That's the word. Okay. Adaptive devices that help. You know, like the thing that you can put up in the shower. You know, but I tell you, man, getting on in the shower is no. You don't. No. Not for me, because I'm be in the ER trying to explain to somebody what happened. You know, and I just don't want to do that. You know, I can barely take a shower just taking a shower. You know, it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, where'd the soap go? Can't see nothing. Got shampoo in my face. Can't find the soap. You know, it's like, so, you know, no. But yeah, there's different apparatuses and devices and adaptive things that you can use. I know there's different types of pillows and ramps and ramp-shaped pillows and have things to help elevate or support, and support is big, it's a big thing, for me. Even in just walking, if I have some good shoes, man, that's a big thing. Support is key. And just emotional support also. Encouragement is like, I know you're hurting, or you don't feel too great, and you just have insecurities, but still, if you love that person, help them deal with those things, emotionally, or if they have something that they deal with and they don't like about themselves, be there and just be encouraging, and that's for pretty much anybody, really, not just people that have disabilities. Be encouraging and be open to listening, and be open to taking suggestions or giving suggestions, and as family planning goes, that popped into my head. Emily and I, we really aren't wanting to have children. I mean, at least not actively, and if it happens because God says so, then it will be. I have fears about that too, being a parent with a disability. I know a few people that are parents and have disabilities, and really, children are resilient and they adjust to just about anything. So, that's not really a fear. I just, like everyone else, I just want to be a good parent, and I don't want to have to, I fear my kid coming to me and saying, people were making fun of you, and people were saying that you're a freak, and people were saying this, that, and the other, and I was afraid about that with my wife too. I was afraid how people perceive us, as a couple, and it's still, sometimes, I think about it, I'm in the mall or something, or we're somewhere, Walmart, people stare at me anyway, but I stare right back at them because they look worse than I do. But and you just wonder, and I've heard whispers behind me, it's like, I wonder if he's retarded, are they married and he's retarded, stuff like that. And I don't know, I just, yeah, people talk, especially young.
You hear everything.
I hear everything, especially young people. They talk and they wonder, they just don't know how to approach it, so they just do those kind of things, but no, just family planning. We really just don't really want to have children, but if God says we will, it would be a great experience, I believe. But no, right now, not really. You have your doubts? I think it'd be alright.
I think I have a lot more fear about it than you do.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, it's all good. Not everybody does what everybody else is doing. So, and I respect that. So, yeah. But the biggest thing is, no matter what your differences are, appreciate yourself and appreciate how God made you. Have respect for that. Have love for yourself. And appreciate who you are and what you are and what God has made you to be, and that pretty much takes care of everything. I think that is the biggest thing that I received from Emily, that she taught me how to learn to appreciate my differences from her or anybody, and she taught me how to love myself, even in my birthday suit. Things may not exactly be like everyone else, but it's nothing to be ashamed of, nothing to frown at. That's just how God has made me to be and how life has brought me to be. So, when you have 10 surgeries and you have things that have happened to you, especially physically, it just really gets to you, And so, she's been the biggest help of anything. No book or video or anything, really. It's just the encouragement of my wife and the trust of my wife, and the respect that we are different people, and it's all right. It's okay to be different, and it's okay to not be like everyone else, because you're not supposed to be. And I think that's the one thing that really breaks my heart about the Kardashians. They all look like each other. It's like, come on, y'all, be who it is God has made you to be. But I guess if you got the money, you can be whatever you want to be. So, just learn to love yourself, learn to respect yourself, And yeah, you know, and don't be ashamed of who it is you are. And so, yeah, if there's any other questions, anybody got any other questions they want to ask, you know, I'm sorry I couldn't really talk too much about ladies with CP and their what was it? Forgot and how they go about having children, you know, parent planning or child planning, yeah, family planning about ladies with CP. I really don't know that much, you know. And the male contribution to family planning, so, yeah. Any more questions? Anybody want me to talk about anything else? Anything you want to know? You can talk about it. We got about 5 minutes before we sign off, but I just wanted to talk about it and just tell people that I'm as normal as I can be, you know. And if anybody had any curiosities, you know, and I guess I could talk about, you know, other people that have things that they have going on, you know, whether physical or mental, you know, a diminished mental capacity. You know, it's a difficulty, but it doesn't make things impossible, you know. And a lot of people like me, they just want to be treated as everyone else is, you know. And they just want to be treated like a normal person, you know. And they have enough they're dealing with on their own without, you know, people having to always tell them about it or point it out, you know. And yeah, you know, just treat people with respect, you know. That's basically all I have to say about all this, really. And again, treat yourself with respect and love. And I wish I could see what I'm looking at right now. My cat's playing with her ball in front of me. So, yeah, I guess that means it's time to sign off. Cat wants to play, so we got to go play. But if you guys have any other questions, feel free to comment or private message me or anything, you know. Some of you have my number. You can text me. So, yeah. Hey, Charlie, man. About to sign off. Be sure to watch it. Watch the video. I'm sure we could do a part 2 if you guys come up with questions. Just, yeah, send them to us. We love you guys and love yourselves. And remember that no matter what, God is in control, even though you think you may have to go to the ER after an intimate experience. Alright, love you guys. Bye.
Bye.
How do I turn this off?